Good morning, America, in the world, to the few pajama traders in chat. Welcome back. Happy Wednesday, the last day of March. We're almost a quarter of the way through this year. We're almost there. I think we're already a quarter. However the math works. I guess we call this the quarterly. End of the quarter. It's been quite the year. Futures have been rising from all night. This morning, here's a look 10 minutes in the past on the E-minis. Because we don't have the active date or active on the futures. We could always just look at the SPY pre-market, but that's no fun. You can definitely see it. You can see it from early in the morning when Asia was trading. I'm going to bring it over to the Hang Seng because, again, this is an important part of what we've been talking about. Now, a lot of different ways to look at this candle, right? So here's the Hang Seng. This is, again, the growth side, the tech side. Been trending out of the low. It looks a lot like the Nasdaq over here, and they are basically the same. At the moment, there's similarities on the tech side, the growth side, and also what they've been reacting to, which was a lot of yields, a lot of spending. A lot of spending over here does not exactly translate well to China, just as spending over here with rising yield because of inflation expectations does not translate very well for growth because it's a discount on future rising capital. But we talked about from last week when we started to really put on some aggressive preemptive bets on growth that it was not going to react to yields this time around, that we've sort of created a baseline, that for 2 weeks or so we were reacting very poorly to yields, right? Well, this morning, we finally, from yesterday, we get the Biden plan on infrastructure spending. We were hearing $3 trillion. It's not going to be $3 trillion. It's going to be just above $2 trillion on spending. Still a ton of money, right? We've been spending a ton of money. Going to continue. Yields rise. Now, you can see some of it here. You can see some of it here. So the thing to see here is that this gapped up, this is not something that happens unless prices are going to be bid and are in an uptrend. You don't generally gap unless you're actually within a trend or you're coming from a downtrend into a new uptrend. There's usually some sort of reason. So even though this started to sell through here, I would say when you now counterimpose it with the futures, when we go take a look at the futures here, the relationship to how the Hang Seng was coming down and then futures going bullish here and going bid towards this morning, I think should tell enough. And specifically, not even just S&P, but NASDAQ, right? NASDAQ doing well this morning. So we just flop over. Oh, we're at a nice cool 69 basis points on the NASDAQ. Everything else is green. Dow is hitting break even right now. Small caps continue to do relatively well, coming from sort of a low and has been sort of rallying the last couple days, right? Yields are starting to fall back right now. Now, the short term is still up a little higher. I talk about how the 2-year is really the most sensitive of the yields in terms of, we can say that the Fed is the most sensitive to the 2-year and that they'll be stepping in based on the 2-year. And so that means that the market is also the most sensitive to the 2-year because the Fed is the most sensitive. So that's an important note to make because I've realized when I was saying before that the Fed would be the most sensitive to the 2-year yield, really that means the market's the most sensitive, right? So just because a decision we've made by the Fed isn't like the Fed's own thing, it's our thing, right? That's literally what we would react to. So we see the yields are still up here. And again, NASDAQ's not being affected by it. That would have to say there's a pretty strong chance that we've at least ascended from the negative sort of retaliatory growth against yield factor that we've been within. And any action coming here in the morning is pretty good. It's pretty good and doesn't say that whatsoever, right? It seems pretty bid. You look at things like Apple here. This doesn't just randomly happen, right? Apple's opening up its supply 1.5% higher. Yeah, it was down 1.25% yesterday. Does Apple open 1.5% higher ever? Does it really do that unless there's something there, right? Somebody's out there buying, right? Somebody's buying for a bad price. They could have waited till open and bought down here. So somebody wants to be, and when I say somebody, the market, of course, right? So I would say this is a pretty strong signal, and I talked about it that this week we were going to need to see the Nasdaq show us something. Otherwise, we're just going to stick with value, and we weren't really going to play the game of preemptive aggressive trading. We're getting a really good confirmation here that this buying down here is pretty much, it's on. There's a reason for it. It's not random. Now, we've been sideways trading this week so far. We could see more sideways trading in the sense that the market is trading sideways. On an individual sense and on an active stock picking sense, right? We've seen some pretty ridiculous numbers, right? Just this whole week, these last 2 days, we've seen some big numbers come through, right? Just 10%. Everything's over 5%. Big swings back and forth. Even yesterday, a lot of tickers just sort of coming right off the open when the market's coming down. So showing a lot of that bid flavor, and not just on the value side, on the growth side as well, right? Things like travel that were beat up on the value side came and put moves on from last week and specifically yesterday, right? So again, everything is on the menu. From last week, we went risk on all equities. We were betting that the market was going to be as well. I would say this morning, it feels different. It just feels different because we didn't get that reaction. Again, you can pick up any newspaper, look on just their websites and see what has been on the headline. It's all Biden spending, yields increased, equities are still up pre-market. That's all we need to know. That's all we need to know. And there's going to be opportunities, right? Now, let's go into, again, the specific side of things, because again, this doesn't so much matter. Yeah, S&P all-time high, Dow all-time high, right? That's matters in a macro sense. But again, we're here to trade. We're here to trade individual tickers and make our money there. We trade on a margin, right? I talked about a lot of them yesterday. Let's take a look at some of these that are come off pre-market and then also that are opening on support and everything like that, right? We want some trades. I'm on the new layout just because it's quicker. So there's going to be supports. You know where the supports are on these charts. You can see it. I'll explain it. But for instance, Chewy, right? Now, I talked about how sort of bearish this was. And again, it's the same. It looks like every other chart, right? And we talked about this idea of a double bottom coming through here. What happened on the Chewy chart? Well, we got more selling and we didn't get any signs of life at the end of last week. The charts that we took from Thursday, Friday were the charts that had life, that showed upside, right? So here's another example of Chewy is up 15% pre-market right now. We wanted to get involved. It just wasn't there, right? It's coming off support. The only way you would have been in this trade is to be sitting in it, sideways trading, and to say, listen, all the growth is going to the upside. You can say this with any chart, though. There's 1,000 growth tickers, and they all look the same. And you could be in any of them, and maybe one of them, like Chewy, will go up 15%. So, for instance, is anyone going to have FOMO on this? No, because we've actually made the same trade on a lot of other charts, but they're just better, right? This just happens to be up 15%. So just to get that out of the woods, does that mean we can't buy it here? It's going to open at 92.5 almost. That's breaking this level here, that when we talk about how do we want to take this trade here, what we're really looking for is to buy it as low as possible on the support, but to really break this level in here. That's where, when I draw those double bottoms, we have that resistance level from that peak of when this price came up. This would, I guess, technically be a triple bottom. I wouldn't really call it a pattern whatsoever, but it's got the same mentality, right? Same price movement. It's when it breaks this level that it gets bullish, and we trade on breakouts. There's still possibilities on a trade like this being 15% up because it's confirming an idea that we have, right? Even though it's a specific ticker, has nothing to do with other things, it's still a part of an average, and it's still a part of the idea that we're looking to trade, right? This breakout. Yeah, it happened pre-market, but that's a sign of life for other tickers, just like when we have seen these other tickers start to come up and break through their level. That's when things actually get going. There's nothing happening down here. It's just where we want to buy because we want to buy before something happens. Here's an example of where The only way you would have got this is when you bought before something happened. We capture, we don't chase. It's already happened now, so it's not chasing anymore if we're buying up here, right? We'll watch that. I think there's definitely chances. There's definitely chances on a pullback from the open that even something like that. Think about it. How many people are looking at this and said, oh, it's up 15%. Let me go buy it now that it's 15% higher. We don't think like that, right? But there might be chances on the option side because of that. So it's something to keep in mind. Gap ups are hard to trade, but it's at least good to note that there are chances in those moments. Is it going to stop there? Does price stop just because it went 15% before the market opened? No, of course not. It's going to keep moving. So we'll keep an eye on that. On the steel side, CLF, X. These charts continue here. We talked a lot about this yesterday, how not to get shaken out at open. Today is the same thing. It's so important. It's going to be so easy to get pushed out of this position because today you're opening up higher, more, really opening up higher than before. Usually your price is a little bit better connected. You're going to be opening up above your wick even. And so it's a little bit of a gap here. It's going to take profit from the very start. That first tick is going to be someone taking profit. If you're watching that chart at 9:30 as that first order comes in and you see the first order is a sell order, the first order is going to be a take profit order, then you're doing the wrong thing. You should be looking at something else to go find another trade. You're already in the trade. You've already made over 100%. You do not need to look at that chart as it opens, because if you do, you're going to get shaken out of the position, which is okay if you take profit. If your plan is to take profit this open because you just opened over 3% higher, then fucking do it. That's your plan. But if you don't know yet and you're going to sit there, the same thing here from yesterday is going to happen. You get this wild spread over 5%, and then some sort of take profit comes in, you're going to get pushed out of that position and you're going to be selling at the low and feel like an idiot as hindsight capital comes into your mind. When you're up here at lunch and you go, wow, I shouldn't have sold it down there. You didn't know at the moment. At the moment, it felt like you needed to get out of that position to take the profit, right? That's because you're watching it. If you're not watching it intraday, you're not going to get fucked intraday. That's the whole point. Look at something else. Those of you that are in great positions, don't look at the damn chart. Know where it is right now. Know where it is right now. And pick a number, pick a spot, and that's it. That's all you need to do. Look at it on the daily chart. Look at it on the daily, or just look at it in your broker. You know where your spot is, where you need to get out of that. Don't look at the chart. That's all. Don't look at the intraday. That's it, right? Now, there's other areas where, sure, you're going to need to be a little bit more on the intraday scale and say, I don't really know. But this is a good example of one that it's just trending. There's nothing else to see here. You know where it is. You don't need to. None of us. I don't even need to load the chart up here for all of you to know what the chart looks like, right? So keep that in mind because there's a lot of different things that are like that, and it's difficult. Okay, let's get over to this side of things. Now, again, I have lines and shit on these charts. I just don't want to go to the other one because it's slow. Plug. I talked a lot at close yesterday. If you didn't hear me, what I said about plug yesterday, that again is on the recording. It takes like 2 seconds to go fast forward it and look at it, right? We're pretty excited about this trade down here. A lot of these sort of clean energy in specifically the intermediaries like plug, blink, this sort of the charts that absolutely roared, and they're not the market. They're just sort of the in-between market. They're service providers of some sort of extent. This is opening up almost 7% higher here, right? Now, I talked about this entry yesterday. Think about what I said yesterday and how hard it is now to get into this trade if you're not in this trade. It doesn't change the fact that, yeah, there's like 100% to go until the high. So you have plenty of room. It's just the fact of how do you get in there now? You can just say, well, I'm just going to buy here. It's only 7%. There's so many percent to go to the upside, so it doesn't matter where I buy. That's true. It doesn't matter where you buy, because if you're going to 7% out of 100 doesn't mean shit, right? It's, again, though, the factor of just being in when you have the chance to, it solves the problem, because I'm not going to have to look at this chart today. Some of you are going to have to. And that's, again, that's timing you're going to lose. There's points you're going to lose. There's a lot of different things, and it's not even that part. It's the managing part, because when you enter that, now you have to watch it to manage it as it goes through the day. And you might have to re-enter it a couple times. Beyond that, though, the confirmation of this morning of just absolutely bouncing off this low on a lot of these charts, something like SunPower as well. I talked about how hard this was yesterday to do anything. How do you get into this other than if you knew you were going to get into it? I mean, look at these moves. You have just garbage, absolute garbage, but you have support, and now they're just launching off, right? Of course, it has to deal with this resistance up here, but this is again where you make this trade from the low, you can at least trade it up to the resistance and take profit there if you need to. It's the point that comes thereafter that's the most important part, right? And that would be like X, right? So you take this trade on X, and now, okay, you have to contend with this high here. And yeah, there was some price action, but here you are. You push past it, and now, again, you're past this high, and now it doesn't really matter. You could be going to 50. You could go to 50 next month. Who knows, right? It's more likely than going to 0, that's for sure, right? Keep that in mind with some of these charts. Again, you can't sit there and watch them. You can't sit there and watch them, or else you're just not going to be involved. You're just going to be price watching, which sucks, right? Couple charts, something from like what I posted last night, because we don't talk about this very much. So I posted APXA last night, right? Pretty straightforward flag. The nicest part about it being that it's sitting right on support. Well, what happened this morning? Pre-market's up 4.5%, 1838. You're directly, where are we? 1838. It's right here. Right here. Okay. You're in the middle of two levels. How would you ever get into this position? How are you ever going to get in? Your support's down here, resistance here. You're midway. You're right in the middle of it, right? Does it change anything? Does it change anything? What if I just deleted these lines right now? Does it matter anymore? Does it actually matter where the price is in here? Okay, your idea here is that price is going to go up, right? So are you going to wait? Are you going to wait for this to be reached? Or are you just going to take the trade because it's going up from the beginning? You're just going to look, and if the price is rising from the open, you're going to ask yourself, hey, is price going up right now? Yes? Okay, well then let me put my order in. It's so important in a spot like this. If it's going to trend up to the resistance level, then trade it to the level. Do not sit there and watch it go to the level and then wait for it to bounce around and then make your trade. Not only are you just wasting time watching price, you could have just placed the order already, and even if it didn't work out, you could have got out of the trade anyway, right? Because it's getting buyers. So maybe it takes profit from the open, whatever it is, you're going to look for that tightening or you're going to look for the bid, right? These are the ones that are the hardest trades that hindsight capital will always say is the easiest, right? But it's just about in that moment, you're not thinking. You don't need to think here. You've already done the thinking, and I've done the thinking for you. Here's what you're looking at. Here's the move you're looking for. The move either happens or it doesn't. You ask yourself, is the move happening? Yes. Okay, that's it. Fucking buy it, right? That's the only way we trade. We don't, if something else happens that we don't know, then we don't trade it, right? We're not looking at God knows what other ticker that someone else is talking about. If I don't have some sort of idea, then we're not going to trade it. No plan, no trade, right? This can be an interesting one. We'll check back on it a little later and see where exactly it's at, and we'll do some hindsight trading and say, oh yeah, that makes sense. I saw it tighten and then I could have bought it. We'll take a look and see if we can do that later. Okay, NIO, Tesla, EVs, right? Clean energy's coming off its low. These are all coming off their low. Again, this is one of those situations. We're talking about equities being risk on. They did not do as well as the rest of growth, right? Coming Thursday, Friday, they just didn't do as well. And if you try to get into these, you got beat up. Yesterday was the first day that these came up. We have like LSU in the chat that has been holding these like long positions that did very well yesterday. So there's that kind of crew that's still in. They're not going to be taking profit. So you're not going to see, it's not like you get a buy event and then they take profit on it. It's just that people just don't trade it is what makes it go down, right? Loss of demand. Are we going to lose demand down here? Look at it. It looks just like the rest of the growth sector, right? It just took a little longer. These trades, again, are just free fire, like fire at will, right? It's just about how you get to there. It's not about how you get in, it's how you get to up here. Again, the easiest part when you Again, not that it's easy. The easiest part will be getting into the trade. The hardest part is how you manage it, because God knows what could happen within this area, right? You're trying to trade it to, you're not buying this to trade it up like to let's say Neo here. You're not trading it to 45, right? You're trading it to well above. That's your point of trading it, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't buy it in the first place. You just go buy, you would literally just go put your money into Vanguard and get 12% a year. Why not? Why wouldn't you, right? You're trading this because you're betting on speed. That's the whole thing. You're betting on faster price movement than the average. That's what we're doing right now, is it not? We're betting that this is slow and this is going to be fast. That's it. You just have to make the trade, right? You have to make the trade. There's going to be a lot of these. So Tesla yesterday, these are not easy trades yesterday. I didn't make this trade yesterday. I talked about it. I'm not going to make this trade yesterday. We're looking for some sort of trend to be broken in here. We're looking for something, right? Wherever this trend is, we're going to get some sort of idea today, I would say. I would say the one way to think about it is when I showed that Apple chart, it's opening right on supply. I would say everything right now on the growth side is gapping to its supply. Think about it like that. Every single growth chart is gapping right now. Why is it gapping? Because it's gapping right to its supply. They're all going to make a decision at open. It seems like that'd be a pretty critical event for just some random Wednesday, right? They're all gapping. They're all gapping to their supply, and they're sitting there right now. They're going to be yes or no trades. It's going to be the same on all these charts, I would say. So think about it in the same way. Okay, Tesla opens up in some sort of zone in here. It gapped into the supply. It's not break even. It's not 1%. It's 2%. Apple, it's not just 1%. It's not just 0.5%. It's not trading flat. It's gapping to its supply. It's gonna be a yes or no trade from the open. What could be difficult is if there's a lot of supply in here and it trades flat for like 20 minutes. That's difficult. If it's doing that, you just have to get in there before it happens. If it's trading flat, where do you think it's going? If it's not selling, then what could it possibly be doing? It's going to be being bought. It's being bought. If it's trading flat, it's being bought. That's what today is going to look like. And it may not be immediate. And I think that's what's going to be interesting. We're going to be sitting here. We're going to leave it on the SPY chart for the open. I'll talk through that angle. Again, it's about the individual tickers that matter. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of comments from everyone in here alerting tickers today, because again, these last 2 days have been just a brutal amount of tickers getting thrown at us of entry possibilities. A reminder, it's almost all at open. That first 30 minutes is the fucking apex of everything that's going to be done today. Again, right? If you haven't looked at the charts, then that's your own fault, right? If you don't know what you can possibly buy, then you're just not going to be able to do it, and you have 4 minutes to do it. And I'm not going to tell you 30 tickers at the same moment at open, right? The number's just going to be moving. You have to have the order and be ready, right? That's it. Besides the tickers that, again, will trade flat for 20 minutes, that you'll have a chance to go get in there. But do you think the options are waiting? Do you think we're all waiting? Are we all sitting here waiting for 20 minutes to go do something with options? The underlying might be flat. The option might be up here. We're bettors. We're speculators. If this is sitting here, we're all speculating upside. There's a very small amount of people that are betting against anything, right? And no one's betting against Apple. I'm talking through this lens because we got shaken out of the Apple position. We want to be in this position. We're in plenty of other charts, right? Because most are doing better than the average. So again, we got in Thursday, Friday. We're in a ton of positions. Don't get thrown out of those, but something like Apple, though, that's what I'm talking about. I want to get involved. I don't want to sit there and watch that price go up 20% in the next month. I want to be fucking involved, right? What's changed? Biden's spending more money. That's more people making iPhones. That's more people buying iPhones. Let me get involved. Not that Apple's like, it is the biggest company, though. So that's going to have some sort of merit. Okay, one last note. We have 3 minutes. Viacom, Discovery, good luck. Good luck. We're above break even. Discovery's doing a little better. I think we had 2% earlier. Where are we at right now? Okay, there it is, 2% right now. Guys, this trade, again, it's like break even on the options right now. Discovery's doing a little bit better. It's like break even from this low trade over here because I have ridiculous options. This price movement is so normal. It's just so normal. It just looks like this trend, right? It's don't sit there and watch it. And again, this is all removed. This is just someone made a mistake. Someone made a mistake. And not even a mistake, they didn't know better. They just didn't know better. This is human error. It's not some sort of market-wide failure. This is just looking like a normal trend. It's just a normal trend. If you didn't hear me shout about this all day yesterday at close, then I would go listen to that. It might convince you to go buy something. So it's going to be one of those silly ones that when you look back on, it'll be like, well, duh, of course we should have bought it down there. It was tightening and came off the low. Is it going to get lower? I mean, sure, but you just have to do it, right? Everything's obvious after. Here's the good way to put it as we get into the open. Every entry at a low is obvious when someone else does it. If someone else does it, it's so easy. But if you have to do it, it's so fucking hard, right? That's where the hindsight capital thing comes in. And it's so easy if someone else is doing it. I can sit here and talk about it, and it's like, wow, that seems really simple. But that's because someone else is doing it. It sounds like that to me, too. If someone explains something to me, I'm like, wow, that looks so easy. It was really fucking hard for me to look at that. Don't forget that part. That's just a feeling. It's just still the same numbers, the same movement, right? It just comes down to whether you fucking do it or not, right? Don't make bad decisions. Common sense trade. But again, since last Thursday, we pivoted off that low, and again, here's the list from yesterday. There's significant price action. There's going to be a ton of chances again today. It's not going to be easy though. It's going to be fucking hard. It's going to be pretty hard. So let's get involved. Have some confidence, folks. Listen, just make a trade. Again, you've had 2 days to make trades. Today again, just because you made 2 days of trades, 3-4 days of trades since Thursday, just make a trade. Just put a stop in. Put a stop in if you need to. Immediately after, right? But just do something. Get involved. Learn something. Learn something. See what happens when you buy that terrible contract that you want to know what happens. It costs 5 cents. Is it going to be worth 10 cents by the end of the day? We'll fucking find out. Buy it. It's 5 cents, is it not? Right? One way to do things. First part of this, right? 15 minutes. What are our first 3 5-minute candles? That's what we're looking for on the market. Again, individual tickers doing their own fucking thing. I already see things moving. This is quite some bid already. The growth side does not care about yields. Yields don't care about growth. Everyone's just kind of going back to a neutral spot besides equities being bid. One reminder, there is a lot of money out there, folks. Just because a move is starting does not mean, and just because momentum has started, does not mean it's not going to continue. Things can be bought and bought and bought as they have been for the last 13 years. 13-year bull run, possibly another 13 years on top of this, right? It's only one day. I'm just trying to pump the, give the pamp out, right? Yeah. Okay. Chewy, we'll see. Pulled back a few percent. Hog, 8%. I told you guys, get on your hog. I think a few of you are in that hog trade as well. We're on the hog. Look at this. We'll see what this does. I would just say if you're in some short terms, take that bad boy. Take that bad boy by the hog. Grab your hogs. Plug. It's gonna be interesting price action from that. That's a ton of price action. Again, all of the solar and everything. These are way more. Look at this. This is so much more clear. So much more clear, right? This is do nothing. You don't have to do anything. You're in a position. You need to be in a position. There's no other. It's already a yes, right? It's just a yes. Hot stocks are going to be interesting. So curious about this move. Might take time, right? That might take time. So that's not you can't react to that every second on intraday. That's for sure. Chinese tickers. I posted the JD chart last night. I think that has the deepest pullback. This is insane. This is insane. You just have to make a decision. You just have to do it, right? You're not. Again, if you're watching your option price in the first 30 seconds after you put the trade in and it's down, and then you sell it, then you're just not. That doesn't make sense. You bought something. Why would you sell it back in 30 seconds later? Doesn't make any sense, right? You just you're gonna have to go with it for a little bit, right? This might bounce around. It's got upside. It's all upside. All of these are on support. We're betting on it. right? We're betting on it. Anything else that stands out? APHA continues. Again, you just have to make that trade. You just literally what I said. Okay, yeah, it's now up from here. It could come back down, sure. But if you're already in the trade, you don't care. Semi is looking very good across the board. Across the board. 10, we'll see what this turns into. Possibilities there. I think Wiz asked about that level. Possibility there if you didn't get it from yesterday. Aerospace and defense continues on the day. I posted the GE chart. There you go. You opened right on the level. That does not, again, we opened on every level on all these charts today. That doesn't happen very often that every chart's doing the same thing. So this is pretty straightforward here. I don't think I need to, considering that we're almost anyone that would be trading this is already in position, it should be interesting to see where the buyers come in there. Look at that doji right on that fucking level. That's insane. You like to see it. You like to see it. SC from charts last night. Very nice start there. Looks good. Looks good. Keep it going. Certainly a bid start. We'll see where it goes. We're 4 minutes in. Coming to 5. Again, the clean energy side, the spending side of infrastructure continues. Don't get shaken. Again, it's okay to take the profit because you want to. Don't do it because you want to pay for something, so you're going to take the profit. No, get out of it when it's time to get out of it, right? No revenge trading, none of that. Oh, this is enough percent. 200% is pretty good for me. I'm sure it is. Sure it is. Push the winnings unless there's a specific plan that you're doing in terms of risk that you should be getting out of the position. But if the position is just going up, then you don't get to guess at top, right? If something else is happening and there's a reason why you take profit, absolutely. No one's going to ever be critical of someone taking profit. You need to take profit. Chewy here, still looking for that. Still looking for that. Oh, we were just watching the S&P climb. SQ, this side of thing, fintech doing the same thing off the low, but it's just a little bit more bullish, right? This is a little bit more bullish. Something to keep in mind because we've been talking about this. We were trading this before growth back over here, right? And this had look how much more bid this is than growth. Growth was like only a few percent. This is a lot more percent up here. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. It means there's more room to grow. Looks like I also all-time highs, guys. That's the one point you do. It's something we don't need to really bring up, but it's the truth. We're an all-time high. You're about to get back into all-time high. No resistance. There's nothing. No supply. Price just moves through freely, right? Dow has been all-time high. S&P has been hitting all-time high. That's it. We're an all-time high. And again, it's the same feeling always when it's going to pull back. So just be prepared for where you are, how you would react to price pulling back. Know what that point is of no return for you. That you're going to start, that feeling comes in, oh God, this isn't good. Price can be at all-time high today, and then tomorrow we get take profit and you lose your mind, right? The market loses its mind, at least Twitter. And it feels like the market's crashing, right? The market's at all-time high, right? Know if you're going to feel like that. Know if you feel like that. So much, right? So much. Hey, guys, imagine if we knew that something about a government spending plan of trillions of dollars would somehow make this whole sector go, right? If only we all knew. Yikes. Yikes. Everyone already knew, right? That's the reality. W's interesting movement. That's tough. COVID winners. Hard to say. Hard to say. Are they the better part of growth, or is semis and the clean energy side the better part of growth? I would still say it's the latter, but possibly COVID winners continue. When you look at some of these, it's moving just like the rest of growth, right? It's where do you want to put your money first? Peloton, these things, right? They're all moving with growth. Again, you need to make decisions for yourself of which side of the aisle do you want to be a part of, right? How about all of them? Well, you'd have to have enough money to do them all, right? Comes down to opportunity cost at some point. Looking very good. C6 posted this chart again last night. Let me just show it on the screen real quick. This is not just for this chart. This is basically for all those charts. You can use them all in conjunction. This just happened to have a very nice look to it. There you go. We're looking for this kind of move in all the charts, right? In all the charts, right? Be prepared for this on all of them. Don't go, oh, okay. Yeah, well, maybe I'll wait for it. Probably too late. Oh, Brian just woke up and says hog, lol. Welcome, welcome. We grabbed the hogs this morning. We're on the hog. You know, we should honestly just have a hog trading day sometime. We all get on the hog, mobile trade, greasy finger, gloves, dark black glove, leather gloves, trading. Gotta love the hog. A lot of bid here. Let's go over here. Look at the Dow here. This bid coming through here, same thing, all-time highs right here. Pushing through, looks very good. NASDAQ, same thing, opened higher, it's holding value, looking good. Small caps, same thing. A little bit more points because it's been down a little bit further and always moves more. All bid here. Let's be prepared for every move that comes from here, but where we're at. Okay, any of these stick out? None of these, we're prepared for most of these. Apps is, again, a part of that, part of everything that we've been talking about. Plan is an interesting one. Plan is is very similar to a lot of these other tickers that we're talking about. A little bit more bearish, this tightening sort of thing. Again, how do you just have, today would be the day you'd be able to get that. You can't preempt that one. That's just too much, but this sector, PRTS, I mean, same idea here, but it's just coming off of support, right? Coming off support. Look at this is a breakout. You have a lot of breakout charts. I'm probably going to post like 30 charts tonight if all these charts do this breakout here, right? I talked about at the beginning of this week and last week if we were going to get it. Where today looks like the day, right? Today looks like the day. So you get these breakouts. Well, there you go. You just broke a trend line. And where are you going? Where would I put this target? Think about it. It's like 33 days. Okay, well here you go. There you go. That's quite a bit of points. Now, maybe I use this trend here, use that velocity, but we're not really trading on that velocity, are we? We're a little bit quicker on this chart. So things like that. Look to the past and see how fast price moves. Don't go, oh, it takes like 2 months to get over here. No, it only took 30 days to get there or something, right? Think about how fast the price moves in its move, in its swing, not over a specific amount of time. That's where when I post these target and charts, it's really easy to go, oh, okay, in 2 months it's going to be here. Well, no, because in 2 weeks it usually gets there first, right? And that's where you just have to take the damn trade. You can't just sit there and go, well, I mean, in 2 months maybe, well, I'll buy some June contracts. Okay, like, I mean, I guess, but I mean, what's the point? That's like saying, well, listen, I'm going to be buying a house in probably the next 5 years or so. Let me just start buying all the furniture, all the paint, all the different things I'm going to need for that new house in 5 years. I might as well just buy it now and be prepared, right? It's going to take a little bit of time, but I might as well just do it now. That doesn't make sense. I don't know if that's a good analogy or not. That's what it feels like, at least. Chris. We like Chris, We all like Chris. Look at this tightening. Chris is going to be christening here. Off this break here, it looks. This is a lot of trend on Chris. He got a lot of levels down here. Eric, Eric's all right. He's a little flat. I'm a little bit more of a curve guy on the exponentials here. Eric a little flat there, but that might be leading to a move. That's really tight. Eric looking pretty tight. Chris looking pretty loose. Okay, pot stock finally getting there. We took this trade, so we're ready. if you're not in this trade. Again, some of you are over here going, oh, I'm gonna get again. This will move with it. It's just it will move with it. It's just funny, and I think Ecto's been in here. No, he's been making the meme of, oh, U.S. is passing regulation. Let me buy a Canadian company. I mean, that's true. It's like if the U.S. is passing regulations for legalizing marijuana, like here in New York City, right? They just passed like the 3-ounce thing. Then why are we buying a Canadian company? Just buy the fucking American company. Why dick around and try to go buy the other one? That's what's funny about the whole thing. It's like, I mean, sure, but just think about it. It just kind of is a little contrary. They're gonna move together. It just kind of, if you're trading because they just passed legalization, why are you buying a Canadian company? It doesn't fucking make sense, right? MJ ETF, it's going. It looks good. I like that move. eBay is interesting to note because again, I talk about how bullish it is here. We had the big take profit day from the week before, but then we went very bullish here. This is one of those really interesting charts that you're never gonna know during the time, but in hindsight, you can start to see it and feel it. I mean, we talked about the trend in here and how that made it bullish, but then you get fucked here and you have to make some decisions. Over here, you could remove this a little bit, line of best fit that trend line, and I mean, we've talked about plenty of these things here already, right? This is very nice. This is very nice. I like that chart. I do like that chart. We trade for volatility and for price movement. We don't trade for just dicking around and having a good time. This is having a good time in a violent sort of way. Again, these charts are on a yes or no spot. This is a yes or no. You're there. You just got to do it. It's you're either gonna make the trade or not, right? Everything opened at that supply. Really, really interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see how this open translates into later because yikes. Everything opening in the same spot. Plug, that's your spot right there, that tightening. If it's coming, it's there. Let me see what's going on here. Get the roll, the tight. NASDAQ keeps going. Again, here's growth. Growth is not stopping. So this is, I mean, now, reminder, what's the NASDAQ moving by? The fucking FANG stocks with Tesla, right? That's the only thing that is moving anything here. So Facebook's got a ton of spread. This is up, though. Almost 1%. Apple, already talked about it. Could you take that trade, guys? Could you take the trade, right? This is why I talked about it. You're opening right at the level, you just gotta you have to just buy it. You just have to buy it. You cannot let this candle come here. You cannot let that candle develop there and then wait again because you're gonna do it. You're gonna do it right now where you're gonna watch this maybe trade flat and you're not gonna really get the trade. And that's why I brought up all these before in pre-market, right? You have to be able to take that trade. And now, in hindsight, capital is going to keep, again, this is why I talked about it. It's going to be so easy for us in hindsight here, but this is why we did it in pre-market and talked about buying this shit, because it's going to be easy in hindsight to go, well, of course. No, we talked about it before it happened. That's the point. You got to do it before. If this comes down, then okay. We'll have to wait. We'll have to wait, right? You'll have to get out of that position. Well, isn't it a nice thing that we're buying one of the most liquid things in the world that literally anybody and anything will buy? You don't need to convince another person to buy your contracts. A market maker will buy it for you. That's the whole point. You can always get in and out of these positions, especially with our sizing, right? That's the best part about being us, is our sizing, where we can get in and out of positions immediately. There's always a market maker ready to fill us. Always. Always. Never have any, again, if you trade anything that's over like 1 million average, and is one of the larger companies, you're never going to have a liquidity problem. That's why that's all I look at. I want to be able to get in and out of a trade because we're trying to chase perfection here, capture moves before they happen. That's the name of the game, is be able to get in before it happens, right? But what do you think is going to happen here? What do you guys think is going to happen here? Do you need to know? Do you need to know right now what's going to happen there? What if I do this? Will this help? Where is that thingy that I'm looking for? Here you go. Does this help? I didn't even know this is a fucking thing, by the way. Does this help? There you go. There you go. Oh, let me. There you go. Does that help? Here, let me do a little bit more for you. Does that help? Does this help right there? There you go. How's that look for you? But Donna, could be like this? Yeah, it could be. Does that help too? I don't know why this is a feature. It's probably not useful in any context, but there you go. I've been wanting to use that for a while. One of these times I'm going to load that up. I'm going to, I'll change it to the colors that I have. One of these times I'm going to load up that ghost feed thing, have the colors exactly as these candles here, and make you guys shit your pants one of these times and have it like all selling down. Because the colors are a little off compared to mine, because it's like trying to be obvious. I'm going to make it look exactly the same, and you guys are going to lose your mind. What? Quite a bit of bid. Yields are up. Hey guys, why is growth going up? Look at the yields. Holy shit, the last time we went past 1.7 over here, the NASDAQ lost like 2%. Oof. It's almost like this week, something's changed. That was a pretty good bet, guys. Pretty good bet that this week would be different. Where's my Bloomberg article talking about yields are up and tech is down? I literally can't see a damn thing. I can't find any article. Yields up, tech down. Oh, tech shares gain ahead of Biden's spending plan. Do you know what it was last week? Tech is down because of Biden's spending plan. Nice fucking writing, dumbasses. Unbelievable. The nerve. The absolute nerve. Tech shares down because of Biden's spending plan. This week, tech shares up because of Biden's spending plan. Is it not the same goddamn thing? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Fucking terrible writing. And the best part is, it's just an algo spitting out the headline anyway, but what do they know, right? Guys, I'm going to tell you what. I think it might be bullish here today. You guys like that analysis? Oh, fuck. I love this job. Look at this shit, guys. Okay, here's a question. Here is an important question that seems like a dumb question, but it's an important question that maybe we figure out. Why is it that people all of a sudden are just buying this shit? Why? It begs to be answered. Why right now? Why today? Why today? How is it that you haven't already bought? Now, I could say that it's like just long orders being placed, right? And you expect price can be much higher, right? But why right now? Why not last week? Why not when it was at a low? Why were you selling in here? What changed in here? And that's what I said during this whole move, right? What changed? Nothing changed. So why? Why does this shit happen? It's a question that I don't think we're ever going to get answered, but it's such it's not that it's a recent phenomenon, but the violent price action is a newer thing, right? Where you get this really violent selling for no reason. It's just a function of like options and everything being mixed in with anxiety at an all-time fucking high. But why? Why does this shit happen, right? Why don't we just get this all at once, right? It's something we need to maybe, like, especially myself, needs to really figure out. Yeah, we can get this trend and it's great. That's what we predict. But what the fuck is that? We already fucking knew. It's nothing new. How is it new to someone else, right? Where is the novelty coming from? They saw a headline. That's what it took, was the headline. It's very interesting, right? Okay. The rad play, right? We pulled the WBA, loaded up the options down here. Now there's an oversupply of options because of this move, right? A little different. We're getting the start of the move today. I said yesterday that if we didn't continue this move today, I'd just get out of it. It's just not worth it. Move is here today. It's the market though, right? So we're going to need to see, this is not a good start. That's a lot of volume. Going to need to see some price action this way. See if that gets going again. I think the fact that expirations are still 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks out, is an important factor there comparatively to the WBA play, even though it's the same spot, right? Okay, let's see. Things like Z, home builders. Z in relation to home builders is tough. Again, Z is literally on its own path right now. It's at a support though. At a support, this is one of those ones. It's not going to show itself. It's just not going to show itself. I still not sure. I talked about it yesterday. Oh, maybe I should get this today. Didn't get it yesterday. Yep. What am I going to do here? I mean, again, you can buy this here, but I've talked about it. We just need to wait for some sort of break on this one. Excuse me, because this is such a trend level chart. I don't know where the trend line is here. I don't know where it is. So we're gonna need some more. And I talked about this. You're gonna miss a few points on this chart. It's so similar, but yet it's still not, right? It's still so different. So that's a tough one. I would, okay. The rhetoric though is that it's gonna be up, so you could just buy it at any point. You're just gonna have to hold through it. There's just too many other things to buy. That's the point, right? I'd rather get the money this week, not in 2 weeks, which is how we are, right? Looking good. Okay, let me bring you over to the recent ones because again, we're kind of missing some. BSIG this year. BSIG, nothing there. Tough. APHA talked about that. We're going up to the resistance. Again, this is an important one to learn from for sure. So again, it's up 7.5%, but it's, even if you missed it, just learn from the fact that what is possible there. Charts are all the same. IOVA bounced. Boop. That's tough. I mean, it's going to break the level there. Again, you're going to have to just take trades as they come. Something breaks. MJ continues. PS continues. SPL. Okay, I mean, this is again one of those situations. You break this trend line, you're on support. If you don't take the trade here, you're probably never going to get the trade, and Neville will take it anyway. This is a good example. You're breaking a macro trend line. You're on a support. There's some 10-minute candles we never look at. There you go. Where's it going? Where is it going? Here, give me 1 sec, guys. Put it on the 5-minute here. 1 moment. All right, all right. Some nice tightening here, like that. Doji'd. 15-minute doji. You're gonna like that. There you go. APHA going up to the level. Again, you don't want to wait. Don't sit there and wait. Price watching RS. Right. Oh, guys, hey, look, CLF. 16%. Yikes. 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 Everything the same. Okay, SE here. This should be interesting because this chart is very different, actually. Maybe we'll look at this as we get some action going. Excuse me. So this chart is certainly a little different. The way this trend works, it's so much flatter. So if you look at the trend in here, now I kind of took some liberties in terms of where this trend line is. You can draw a trend line that's a little bit more like this. And maybe we should see where that is. But it's basically, it's going to come into the same spot, right? Now, this, I mean, it depends on the time frame you're looking at, right? Yes, you can say that there's some sort of channel like this, right? Absolutely. That's just already there. It should already be in your mind that there's some sort of thing like this, right? But we react to more recent price action, right? And this is sort of what we're on now. We're on this side of the channel here. This is kind of an important spot here because this would mean you're within a channel, whether it's this one or the other one, right? It doesn't make a difference. This is going to be interesting. But as soon as you climb into channel, what happens? Well, now all of a sudden you have more bullishness. You have new support. You're back within a price move that this pattern broke you out of. What is a pattern? What's a consolidation? It breaks you out of a trend that you were already within, right? That's all I do when I post these is I'm showing a consolidation, a pattern that we understand that broke you out of a trend that you were already within. So something changed and it no longer followed that rule, right? Sometimes you'll get some reactions and there's some wicks in there, right? So this is one of those ones that just from the APHA chart as well, right? You can't sit here and go, well, you know, I got a level here, got a level here. When you go to climb a ladder, do you go, well, fuck, man, I've got another rung in front of me that I got to climb. Should I just jump over? What are you going to do? You're going to wait until what? How are you going to climb the ladder if you're not literally using the rungs to climb the ladder? That's all we do with prices, right? We climb levels and find new support. You got to be in the position to go climb it, right? You can't sit there. Yeah, you could wait. You could wait. Sometimes it's beneficial to wait for a breakout. Not when you have multiple percent. If it was 1%, okay, that I understand that. If it's 5%, 6%, come on, right? It's still important to see price come on top, bounce on it and support, and continue, right? Or just fucking blast through it. Something, right? Do we have any more interest? We haven't gotten any new. It's a shame we don't have the Suez Canal memes anymore. Nothing. No good fun news today. All right. Ryan says it was a good meme. It was a good meme. I'm going to miss the canal blockage. What's going to be the next one? Are we going to get some... I think Bloomberg said the next one's going to be a big hack. We're going to have, you know, some sort of hack. Visual says NVIDIA going. Ryan mentioned TSM as well. Again, semis were really clear off the start, I would say, for sure. Especially when you look at the solar side, which we consider part of semis, that movement. I mean, the TSM chart certainly is again, I don't want to say easy, but it's the level of difficulty of this chart is just, it's just not really a difficulty there. It's either coming out of this or it's not. This either exists, this either happened or it didn't. No one's going, oh, this didn't just happen, right? No one's saying that this didn't wedge out of here, right? NVIDIA is a little different with all this supply, and the other chart I have just has a bunch of levels, right? It's got to just break out of here. What's it doing? If it's not breaking, then what's it doing? It's a lie. The market's a lie. We're not going all-time highs. It's fake. This is not real. Everything's going. Don't sit and wait for it. Guys, look at these numbers again. Look at the amount of charts that are over 6%, over 5, over 4. Again, it's already happened. It already happened. This is why we trade before it happens. You don't have to always be right. It's just one trade. You make 100 trades, 30 of them could be right. Maybe just one of them. Even if just one of them was right, and you made over 100% and you lost 1% on the others, you still gained 1%. You still gained 1% compared to the 99, right? And it's usually a little bit better than that, right? I would think that if you made 100 trades, you could win more than one of them. I would really hope so, guys. If you make 100 trades, you can make more than one of them work. Absolutely. So, again, the last 3 days, you could have literally bought anything. Again, monkeys throwing darts have better performance than the S&P sometimes. Today's a good example. Yesterday's a good example. Monday's a good example of our little chimp brains, right? We're just meat in a bag. Meat bags. You're going to have a hard time being wrong. Now, hindsight capital, sure. But we bought last Thursday. Because we wanted to be right. It would have sucked if we were wrong, for sure. But we were wrong the week before. Because we bought the week before and got stopped out 100 times. But we were right this week. Now it doesn't matter, does it? What? We were wrong the week before? I mean, we did have the dirty Dow, but to be honest. Look at the dirty Dow. Break even on the day. What are you guys going to do if we get to take profit from some of these? Your chart's up 10%, it starts to take profit. What are you going to do? Are you going to wait for it to pull back 5% and then you'll take profit on it? Rope, says Brian. I'm now only up 5%. Oh, better sell at the low. That's what I mean. Don't sell at the low. Don't sell at the low. If you know that you're not going to be able to hold, just get out of the position. It's fine. No one's going to ever critique you for that. Play yourself. And no, you sickos, I don't mean like that kind of play. I mean, just, you need to beat yourself. And no, I don't mean beat yourself. I mean, you need to do better than just the market. You got to do better than yourself. Always being better than the previous version of yourself. And I don't mean that in a sentimental way. I just mean you got to be better than the guy that entered that trade. Interesting movement there on Blink. Some tightening, huh? Wonder where that's going. Okay, let's take a look. Here's the question, guys. Do you think this candle right here means bullishness? Do you think this meant bullishness? Do you think we're not going to know? Do we need to see more? I know some of you are craving the opportunity to finally get in this trade. Some of you are already in the trade from this morning. Are you going to wait? Guys, this could be down 5% tomorrow. Tesla could be down 5% tomorrow. But it could be up 100% in the next month. And do you know what happens if it's down 5% tomorrow? You lose 1% or 2, maybe less than that when you get stopped out. Do you know what happens if you don't take the trade and it's up 100%? You make 0. You make 0. That looks like 800 to me. That just feels different. It just feels different. This would be the last line of defense for resistance. Besides a possibility of this coming in, but it's irrelevant right now. This would be the last level of defense right here. And what does that look like to you? That looks like a breakout candle to me. Some of you are going, uh-oh, let me get my, hold on, Don. Let me get my mobile device out. Let me load up my Robinhood app. Hold on, Don. Let me go buy some of these here. Let me buy some of them 800 calls. Wow, those 800 calls are still $500? Heard Tesla's pricing in Bitcoin. Hey guys, I thought Bitcoin was crashing. What happened to Bitcoin, huh? Wait a second, guys. Listen, I heard Bitcoin was crashing. Whoa, wait, this chart looks so much different than... I saw so many people saying it was crashing. What happened? It almost looks the same fucking as it looked the last time I looked at it. I think the last time I looked at it was over here. It looks like it's higher. Where is the crash? Aren't they now saying PAMP? Aren't they now saying it's PAMP? Fucking insane. What's the point? Uh-oh. Ryan posted more Elliott waves. Oh, we're back up. Perfect. Is that the same dude that said that the Dow was going to 0 and all the other shit? Small caps are going to 0? Jesus Christ. Oh, God, it hurts. The best part about it is that I've looked at that stuff before. Like, for technical analysis, I've done things with Elliott waves and stuff, but you don't use it for trading. You use it for some sort of analysis. That's it. You don't predict things with it. You're trying to form a bias. You don't actually use the fucking values that spit out of it, right? Insane. Insane. And most people don't understand it. That's the funniest part, is they don't understand where the waves start, where they end. And they just have to change it every single day. Every single day, they change where the wave is. That's what the guy must have done. Changed where his wave is. Oh, that wasn't wave 2. This was wave 2. So that means our wave 5 is going to be in a completely different spot. Unbelievable. Really makes you think something. Oh, well, crash is coming, guys. I see -3 basis points. Because yours has Netflix, or we have not looked at very recently. Look at that trend right there. Suspect. Or we did look at that. We looked at the low over here. A lot of volatility in here. Makes it a little different than the other charts. Is the spreads. Same form though. Same form. Downtrend into consolidation down here. Whether it's, this is of course a sort of a double bottoming of support. It's not so much a clear cut pattern though, right? No pattern there. Do like the move to the upside for sure. Facebook, again, the first growth ticker we got a part of really from the most recent action out of here. It looks good. You want to see this next move be larger than this pullback move, I would say, and it should be. So we're trading it for that. We're not trading it to come back to here. We're trading it for bigger move than this, which should be this, right? But my Elliott wave. JD, Chinese tickers, they're going. Aerospace and defense is going. It's just a little slower, but it's important to realize that that's a big value. That's a lot of points. That is a lot of points for these charts. Okay, Z, no. Billy. Oops. That's not Billy. BLI. Where's billing? Okay, same spot. That's what I thought. Let some take profits from the top. Okay. SQ continues. Hey guys, what's going on over here? What's going on with WBA here in retail stores, huh? Wonder if Rad's gonna follow. It's actually pretty stuck. Some retail store action. Some retail store action. You don't got it on the average again. Don't use XRT anymore. That's. Hey, where's our Viacom and Discovery? Let's take a look. Viacom down 4.5. A little bit too many other good things to buy, apparently. Too many other good things to buy. Is it normal, though? Price action. As if nothing happened? I would say this looks like a lot more natural price movement compared to this. This has a little bit of hints of, you know, something that's playing different. This looks normal down here. This is a little different for sure. Discovery does look better still in terms of a trend idea. This is just building confidence. So again, this chart is definitely a little bit on edge compared to Discovery. It's a completely different value. Viacom was up at 100. Discovery was at 78. Little different for sure. Prime mentions TJX, UA. Retail stores. Retail stores. What did I say about this chart? I think I have the lines on the other chart. I mean, it's definitely broken, whatever that is there. When the candle yesterday already gave it some bullishness. The low is pretty clear. Higher lows. UA. Oh, that's a lot more fun. For sure, a lot more fun there. Better opportunity. Deeper. Deeper. Better support. A little bit more volatility to come, comparatively. On Uber. Uber, definitely the same idea. It's a completely different chart, but same idea. This a little bit deeper in here on a wedge. This breakout is just a lot clearer. There's not much to break here. Now, what is the level in here again? I just posted the chart, but you've got like 55, right? 55 would be like the spot that I would look to want to break here today. So 55, and then I mean, once you break that, I mean, what do you got to contend with? Nothing really. It's just you're already broke. DJR mentions Amazon again. Yeah, all growth. This chart has been terrible, right? Absolutely terrible. Just completely terrible. I talked about it when it was down in here. The only thing that brings this chart out of here is that growth is on. Growth is risk on, and we continue. That looks like a nice start. The problem is that you get this a lot. You just gotta get out of this shit. I've posted this chart plenty of times now, where you get these diamond patterns and everything. So whether the trend line's here, like, is this the break right here? I mean, that looks pretty good. It's not the same as the other charts, but again, here's the problem though. You just break through, and a lot of the problem is like the Google chart. Now Google is very far ahead, right? Here's Amazon. Here's its all-time high back in September. Google. Here's its all-time high. It's at it. It's well above. But the same reason why Google doesn't move very much over here and Amazon, the options suck ass. In terms of getting a quantity of calls, no one's buying a bunch of calls. You can't afford to buy a bunch of calls. And so the quantity of demand is not the same to cause a gamma reaction on the underlying, right? It's not the same. Night looks good though. Microsoft. Oh, what happened there? Microsoft. Still, these charts. I mean, Jesus. If here's the thing, like if this stuff was not moving together, these charts are just terrible. Just nothing here. You have to get out of this shit. A lot of times, like if equities weren't risk on, this was a different market. You would just have to wait for all of this to go away for you to get out of it. Thank God we're in a spot where we can just do anything. Very rarely get punished for mistakes, right? Okay, again, Tesla is now a little bit further. Okay, a little bit further. We'll check back in a little bit. ARC, is that the best buy day we've seen so far? Hmm. Would this be a true double bottom? Maybe not because of this candle. Maybe it would be. ARC would actually be almost a true double bottom here. This price action, which it's an ETF, it should follow a better structure for sure, comparatively to an individual ticker. So, okay. Where would I say this would be? Let me just, again, we shorted this to infinity. Let's see. That turns into 20 bars. Put it at the 142 for 20 bars to start, based on the break here. Hasn't happened yet, so what would happen is if it gets up there, then you're just bumping this up, right? Bump it up. I mean, that's what we're looking at on all these charts anyway, but just to emphasize this trend here. It's this, these all have the same angle of a trend, right? The slope is the same. Like, it's not like any of these are that different. Almost all of the market has the same slope. It's the short-term action that's different. Short-term volatility, right, is different. Other than that, I mean, it's all the same. The market still looks good. In terms of the average doing something or anything, I mean, this is obviously a lot better than any of this shit, right? This sort of, you get this. This is good. This is from last Thursday into Friday. We understood that this was better price action that was telling us something. No, you just kind of get, nothing. This is a little bit better, right? It's being consistent on an average. Q, this is the, but again, this is just consistency, and it's actually telling us something that we can use. That's what we were looking for. Confirmation. Is this risk on or no? Risk on. Where are we in volatility? Volatility jumping up a little. By jumping up, I mean it went below. Wait a second. Okay, no, it wasn't the low. Again, it's just dropping into teens now. It's testing those lower lows. Testing lower lows on the spot VIX, which is going to be interesting. All right, all right. What we got here? What is all this? Definitely bios still presents something, but with the market being so bullish, I don't know if I want to put my attention so much to short-term bio plays, if it's really worth it. They're certainly out there. They're always available for some sort of short-term trade. I guess if you're late to the party, you can always take them. I'd still rather be on the larger healthcare side of things and push those trades and add value to those. I mean, there's still a lot of them. I mean, a lot of these prices look very good. And you can always be late to the party. Something like this that's breaking a level, I would say is probably still better. Something like this. IOVA. Chris. I mean, we've already talked about Chris. Chris is pretty good. It says YS, JDR says. Same thing here, right? All these growth tickers, same thing. Today is that first day of elevation off that support. Got plenty of chances. Even if you're late. Still, gets harder to manage the further it goes. Again, since Thursday, last week, Thursday, Friday, this week, we've been doing the same. Buy it when you see it. Buy it when you see it. Upwork, right? All of these. All of them. All the same. Doesn't matter if they do something different. Doesn't matter if they have better sales. None of that shit matters. None of it matters. A lot of demand going to growth today. A lot of demand going to growth. Oh, now the headline has changed a little bit. Tech shares gain with bond yields on Biden's plan. So now, excuse me, now we've gone from tech shares down because of bond yields in Biden's plan to tech shares gain with bond yields on Biden's plan. Wow, that's quite the 180. I mean, I know they're just summarizing what's happening, but let's just be honest. Ooh, imagine thinking any of those things are connected. Wait a minute, so is it good or bad? Maybe things just don't need to be correlated. All right. Maybe sometimes they are, sometimes then they're not. Aqua Bodhi with the continue. The 666. Oh boy. The Aqua Bodhi meme could be coming back. Oh, we've been on the log scale this whole time. Holy shit, I've been losing my mind. Been on log scale. I keep looking at these, I'm like, what is going on here? Been on log scale. Whoops. Whoops. Let's see. Maybe now that let's see. Let me look in the land of the living. Again, that chart is for the worst case scenario. Oh, okay. Yeah, a little bit more. A little bit more in here. Okay. Makes a little bit more sense. A little bit. That makes a little bit more sense. Good or bad? Yes. Wearing continues. Were we on travel at this moment? Coming out of the low. Okay, we had a big day yesterday. Take profit day started. What's interesting is, okay, we got some of that take profit to start on some of these travel charts. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Kind of, again, just in the, you're in a spot again where if you're just in a position, things are easy. If you're not in a position, how does the market decide make decisions over here? Difficult. You have to just chase all the time. Well, I think we have the day correct so far, folks. See what happens. In terms of a lunch, what are we going to get for lunch today? Question one I think would be, are we going to reach all-time high on the average before lunch? And if not, does that mean we're going to melt through it? Everything would change as soon as all-time high gets reached again. And we see this happen all the time where as soon as you hit it, then shit starts to get a little bit more volatile for further upside, rejections. It's possible we get that. It's hard to tell because we already started trading flat rate as we get there. So hard to tell, but I would say a melt is in order either way. It wouldn't be, I don't see very big swings in the sense of something like this, right? Swinging back and forth. We're not really in that spot right now. When you look at the NASDAQ and this trending here, this is melt territory. We're not in violent move territory right now. It's not going to happen. So that's one ease that you can have. So when you, for lunch, you go out, do something, you don't need to be worrying about your prices all day, right? On the individual tickers, again, same thing, same thing. Not seeing much different now. Your WG has continued, which is nice for that trade. I mean, again, it's not, there is no knowing for sure, but similar kind of move we're looking for. But you're trading around an event makes it difficult. I mean, this chart's certainly proving a point. Squaring, certainly proving a point. SC did get rejection on that trend line this first go around. Slowing down, slowing down. Yields pulled back a little bit here. 2 years not as wild. Here's not as wild. Apple's still at almost 2.5%, even with the sideways trading here. This just is so bullish when you get that. Again, you get sideways trading here and you don't get a swing down in relation to it. No one's exiting long positions. There's just people filling market maker orders. No one's selling long positions. Those are market makers providing liquidity that buyers are buying. They're just getting the same price as they fill it. That's no doubt. That's not downside. It's all bullish. This chart is terrible. Absolutely terrible. Doesn't matter if the chart's terrible if it's going to be on a new trend, does it? You're breaking out of it. You're getting out of the sort of the mess here, right? Still not sure exactly where I want this trend line, but why don't we give it this bad boy? Give it these wick touches here. That's it. Done. See ya. All right. Leave this behind. Leave this mess behind. Specifically here. If we're risk on, growth is on. Okay. Trend. Do a trend. Long positions being added every day. We know what it looks like. We know what it looks like. Long position every day. Same orders. Every single day. Not worried about what happened the week before. Thinking about where it's going to be next week. Week after that, right? Okay, get the melt there. Here, guys. Be right back again. Hey guys, things are pretty bid around here, huh? Everyone's a buyer. Everyone's a buyer once things starts moving, huh? Unbelievable. Bullish today? People calling me going, hey man, do you think things are going up? Should we buy something? I don't know, man. What do you think? Now all of a sudden everything looks good? Well, now it's an all-time high, you see, Don. All-time high. I mean, let's be honest. That was the open. So where things have moved, they're gonna continue moving, or they're not. There's no other thing. So, I mean, things have happened. There's not something that's gonna be all of a sudden changes. You know, things have moved. Things have been bought. Yes, price will continue later, tomorrow, of course, right? Of course. But if you're still here right now, you just woke up and you're going, maybe, can I buy something? Yes, it's the same as buying earlier. You're just buying later, that's all. There's just not much. If there's something that hasn't moved, then I'm going to be a little bit more timid about it, right? Because it's like, well, if everything's already been risk on for the last like 4 trading days, right? 4 trading days or so, then what am I buying this thing for, right? That's what I would put my mindset right now. So if you're already in all the positions here, and all you're going to now do is manage them, then what am I looking for new things for, right? We looked for the new thing. We've got the new thing, right? Is there now, do we need to find something new again? Or do we need to now look to be building these further, right? It's like we trade the Facebook trade. Okay, things take profit. We need to know when to buy back in. Well, thankfully, we had some help with the market. Being Thursday, Friday, we were buying everything. So, okay, well then, now that's how I'm going to re-enter this trade. So now the trade is the same on a lot of these. It's, okay, when am I going to add more here as I have new profit come in based on different situations, right? It's not so much I need a new thing. Sometimes there's going to be new breakout charts always, right? New charts like that, but if it isn't already moving right now, is it as bullish as the thing that's already moving? It's not. And so it's important to still remember that. And that's where we were with value for so long, right? Now, this is not moving as much today on an average. Why? Because growth is getting a lot of demand right now, right? But other than that, it's the same concept of if we know something's more bullish and has a better opportunity cost, risk reward, then we're going to continue to be a part of that trade over another, even if something presents itself as maybe a bottom buying opportunity, whatever it is, right? Because we want to trade what's the most bullish if we're going for a long trade, right? Not going to be looking through in between the lines or anything at this point, right? Shit's happen. That's it. That's it. If I didn't have any positions right now, right, for some reason, everything was reset, then I would just be buying these things anyway, right? It's a few point different. Oh well, what are you gonna do? You're not really. It's not about this move here. It's the whole move, but you have to enter on this move. I'm definitely today taking my own advice and not looking at intraday charts on a lot of these charts now, starting about right now, because it's gonna start to happen, right? All right, let's go take a look at the 5-minute on X. Okay, well, it's gonna start to happen, isn't it? Well, I mean, if it doesn't hold that, I might have to get out of that position. Okay, right? There's so many ways that you can sort of turn this price action into something else. If it happens, it's gonna happen. You don't. Again, you can turn this into a 30-minute candle, and now look at what it looks like. All that price action didn't do anything. It's at the same spot it opened at, right? That's where just let it be this candle. Let it be this candle. Don't. You're already in it. I mean, there's just so many tickers like that today, right? So many. Do I want to take this profit? Yeah, I took some over here. I'm going to push this until it's done, though. That's me. Here's another good example. Something like SunPower here. This is not beautiful, right? Not great. You're in this trade, it's not great at all. I mean, this is quite a bit of points here. I mean, that's 4.25 right there. It's almost 5% lost in 30 minutes. But it's up 4% today. So it was up 8% yesterday. Like these kind of things, it's just so difficult to look at these intraday, right? And that's why we try to do things on a macro level, on a daily level. Further, it's more than just right now, because otherwise, how would we ever trade? This is where the conundrum, or the ability of a person that tells you that they're a day trader and they scalp trades really falls apart. Because how are they day trading some of this stuff? The market is very bullish, and as long as you just sit in the trade, you're making money. But if you're trying to trade it, overtrade it, like scalping everything, how do you trade that? How are you trading some of these things? Where is the signal? Where? How are you trading? How are you getting from the here, out, in, out? There is no such thing. And so that's where like the day trader, like buying every 5 minutes, selling every 5 minutes sort of thing falls apart. This scalping idea, when you're not trying to swing trade for more than a day, anything below that falls apart, because this chart these are bullish and they're trading to the upside. But how are you scalping and day trading this every single day on that move? You're not. You're literally not. And so it's like, okay, so that's not a real thing then. Oh, right, okay. Those are just it's baloney, right? It's all baloney. You're a SPY day trader. You're a SPY day trader. The S&P's at all-time high. You must be doing great. You must be doing great, little day trader, Greg. Must be doing awesome. S&P's all-time high. How's the day trading going? Where's the day trade? Where is it? Where is it in here? Where's the buy and sell orders that you're trading like every few minutes? I don't see them. What, did you perfectly buy it open? And then where did you sell? Did you... Again, doesn't exist, right? Doesn't exist. You just have to be in the position. Just push it. And so that's where, again, less is more. Enter the trade, push the trade till there's nothing else to squeeze out of it in terms of a risk level. You push it right to the absolute breaking point. Push it to the brink. Push the risk right until there's too much risk involved to push it further. Otherwise, that scalping shit back and forth. I mean, ow. Ow. Look at this. Where? Ow. Where is it? How did you know? These are 5-minute candles. There's no fucking trades in there. None. Day traders must be having a fucking nightmare. Some of those the new people from like the last year that are mobile day traders and shit, or new day traders on computers, whatever. The market is doing so well, and yet they must be doing so poorly. It must not even make sense. Difficult. If you would have bought here, you would have made this much. Subscribe for more. Yeah. My favorite part though about the whole day trader thing, where they're like day trading penny stocks and scalping like shares and shit, is that they say it's fundamental trading. They're buying on fundamentals every few seconds and selling every few seconds for fundamentals. Do fundamentals change every few seconds or something? How do you use that as like, oh, here they announced a new thing. It's a new stage, and so that's why I'm going to day trade it 1,000 times today. Why does it matter? Right? It's like such a strange concept. I mean, I understand that there's like some sort of ability there to make money, but you need to be a big institution, like a market maker that splits the spread, and that's how they make money. Otherwise, it's just not a. Where's the day trade here? You're just holding. Aren't you now just becoming a normal trader like the rest of us? Sell it, buy it, sell it, buy it, sell it, buy it. Oh, it's sell it, buy it, sell it, buy it. Oh, hold it, hold it. Like, it's just so strange. Look at that. How do you day trade that? I don't even know how to trade that in general. Where's my buy? I'd have to already be in. I would not even touch that. No movement. I would get squeezed out of this immediately. Let's see. Pog, we haven't seen much since the gap. Not much since the gap. GoPro doing the normal dance here. Question is whether this is this. Hard to say. Nice consolidation, pull back into a break. How many points come there? That's a tough one to know exactly. I would just be using this trend in here, and you're in some sort of channel up there. Still have resistance up there. A little different in terms of your prospects of going higher, I would say, comparatively. You can trade the short term, though. Eton. COVID winners basically with the rest. Where's Neo right now? No, this is the most heavily traded today. Oh, God. Look at that. How, again? How? How? There is no such thing. If you're not in this position from yesterday, there is no such thing as buying over here. There is no hindsight capital can't even convince you that it's possible to buy here. Not even hindsight capital could convince you. I mean, what are you doing there? Honestly, you'd have to be waiting, and it's just too much. Too much. Again, if you have to just take the trade without looking at this. You would literally just you'd be here. Okay, head tightening. We talked about it from yesterday. These are from Thursday, Friday into this week. Things this week. You just have to be buying it because of an idea for a macro reason. Support, not because of the price movement on an intraday level. There's nobody that is looking at this on 5 minutes and being excited about it. Nothing. Right? It's just too much. These are fucking 1% candles. Interesting. Just continuing. That's a melt right there. I mean, it's only 11 o'clock, but that might be the, what is this? The melt into lunch? The downwards melt? That's the super melt. Nice tuna and cheese, chicken salad and cheese melt. Maybe throw in, chicken salad, nice Swiss. Maybe some coleslaw, some Thousand Island, some pickles, nice sourdough bread. A little bit of lettuce, tomato. I think I need to eat soon. Super melt for the super melt day. Are we gonna get more here? All the long buys that open. What happens when you lose volume here during lunch? You're filling up all these orders. You have a lot of liquidity, filling up market maker orders. You lose supply. The market maker still exists, though. Hard to say on some of the growth stuff. Maybe we're going to lose volume. Hmm. You just stick to sideways trading is good for upside. It's bullish. It didn't make this move for no reason. Trying to predict what we get for lunch, though. Curious. – 2.5%. Ah, right. Remember this day over here? This is coming into 2 o'clock. This is 2 o'clock right here. Look at this day. Ba-dum, and then 2 o'clock hits. 2 o'clock, return of volume. Volume returns. Oh, here we go. That's probably how I would picture it today, with a little bit more curve. A little bit more curve to it. A little bit more of a trend this way. If you got the buying here at open, I would say you're going to get it at close. So I'd predict something like this at close as well on the chart. And then some sort of flat, some sort of trend melt action during lunch on something like a specific ticker like Apple on the growth side. I would say growth in general is going to do that. Today, do you get take profit on the close here? It's not this. It's really just not the same. The idea of when you put a lot of points on from during the day and then you take profit at close in relation to it, like some sort of, maybe like a tiny bit, like a tail here at the end. I would say it's something like this without all this price action down, right? Without the selling through the lunch, I see something like a melt into some more buying at close, because almost all the volume is going to the demand side, and no one cares about price, obviously. If you cared about price, then you wouldn't. I mean, again, that's it doesn't really. It's not like, well, now I have to buy it 1% higher. Shit. 2% higher. Oh, damn. You're not buying for 1%, 2%. If you're buying long positions, you are buying for the whole fucking meal, not the one bite of it. Roku. A wedge from above. The wedge. Probably do one of these. I wouldn't go all the way up here. I would say that's the trend. We already know the trend lines. We have a billion trend lines on the other chart, on the other layout. NVIDIA, still waiting for NVIDIA to break through this upper bound near the resistance. And all semis were bullish to start the day, so. INTC, a little bit slower, but to be expected. A little bit slower and always. Cuomo signs legalizing adult use cannabis. Post Brian. There it is, folks. Now you can walk around with a 3-ounce bag. You're gonna have to put that in a fucking big sports bag or something around you. Carry that, but you know. Now you can just carry it around. Look at everybody. I got a 3. It's not more than 3. Get your scale out, copy. I don't know why I guess 3 is maybe 3. I'm guessing 3 ounces is like the package you ship it in is like usually the size of what they use for shipping or something, because that's such a fucking big amount. What is the point? It must be for like the transportation for each person that's like individually like transporting it or something. I have no idea. Something to do with how much you ship or something, obviously. Not with people just actually fucking carrying weed around. These Soho dispensaries about to be so bougie. Absolutely. Absolutely. Be interested to see what the stores look like. There's so many bars here that have gotten fucked by COVID. There's plenty of real estate. Plenty of places to rent for some sort of whatever the fuck it's gonna be. Whatever it's gonna be. Soho, NoHo. Tribeca is gonna have fucking fancy dinners with God knows what. I'd imagine there's gonna be bars with pot to start. Here's the question: is when does CVS, Dwayne Reed, those types, when do they just start selling pot? You go over to the counter and buy some fucking weed. That's like the corporate side that would make something different. If it's just like some random dudes with a bar, like a friend of mine buys a bar, or you know, leases a bar in one of those places and it just sells weed. That's okay. It adds up to a lot of money, but it's when someone like CVS or something starts to sell fucking weed over the counter. When is that gonna happen? Now that it's in New York, now you finally have a market that you could do it. If you're CVS, you're not gonna do that in Colorado and some of these other places. You would do it in New York though. Why not? You got fucking millions of people to do it to. You don't even need to do it. The best part is that we think so much about just the city. So like the 2 million people in Manhattan, but you've got all the boroughs. It's so much easier to open up a fucking place in Brooklyn, Queens. No one's gonna complain about it anywhere else. Yonkers, like you can just there's such a market for it everywhere, and then you do like the bougie, like Mopsy said, you do the bougie shit in the city. Like Manhattan is not gonna allow there to be some hippie ass fucking dispensary. Like it's not gonna happen. People would complain. The people that live above are gonna complain that it fucking smells like pot all day. I mean, that's just not going to happen. You're going to have bougie in the city, but you want to do some real fucking selling? CVS, fucking Walgreens, Dwayne Reed, sell that shit everywhere else. That's it. Done. few billion every quarter. Then we can have a talk about fundamentals with retail stores. Hold on, guys. I think I got it. Now I understand. Now I understand the 6% here today. Now it all makes sense. All this price action. It's for the Walgreens is going to be selling marijuana in New York City. We got it. Now I'm going to buy it. You know what? Now we'll buy it. Fundamental trading at its finest. Something that possibly could happen, unlikely to happen, but it's definitely fundamental. And that's why I will do it. Wonderful stuff. Did we get reaction? More news trading? Nah, we didn't really. The same. Are we going to get some news trading or what? It's official now. Should we test it? We should test it. Now we got to find a store. Are they already open? We got to find a store, buy 3 ounces. That's like $1,000. And walk around the city and test it. Someone will do it. Just listen, I mean, let's be honest, we know how that's going to work. I'd probably be okay. Dish resistance is JGR. And this level here, yeah, 36.5, I would say. This, again, here's a good example. Okay, you have charts pulling back, we're buying on the pullback. Which ones are more bullish? Chart looks a little bit more bullish, doesn't it? This whole move that we had, this pullback, this breakout is a lot better than some of those other breakouts still, right? That's the end of the day. At the end of the day, I would take, like, so right now, if I just woke up, right? You just woke up? Okay, well, there's a trade I would take. JGR sees it, the market can see it. Once it breaks, okay. Fill this liquidity? All right, well, who's selling to me now? CGNX is a nice call out. That's a true double bottom right there. But I mean, the trend kind of sucks over here, but that's, I mean, it doesn't get much closer than that. That's for sure. Some will call it the W. Isn't that a W? Sure. Yeah. It's the same thing. Sure. It's a W. Okay. You could also, we call it a double bottom because it's the fact that there's two of these bottoms that bounce on the same support, and that's what makes it. Not just that it's a W, but yeah, you got it. Perfect. So SMA, again, we use individual tickers for the trading. I posted that SMH chart just back on Friday. This here has been a little bit slower to catch up on the average, but you're getting it. You're getting it here as well. This was a nice pullback. This is a really nice pullback into that support to confirm it. Right? It was resistance, came on top, confirmed it support. That, I mean, you don't need to see much more than that. Still, you don't need an ETF. This is, I was going to make a joke about the ARK-X, the new ARK space ETF. You don't need to use the ETF. You don't need to get exposure to every single one of those companies. You don't need to. You can use the individual ticker and, again, trade on the margin and make such a larger gain comparatively. Yes, there's more risk, but I mean, how else are you going to get something if you don't pay for it, right? This here, okay, you want to get exposure to everything and have less movement, have more liquidity, perfect. You're going to make less, right? It's just, it's the same thing, right? It's the same thing. Still, you look at these other individual tickers, they're there. And they're there from the open, and it's a little bit more clear. This price action is not great. You had a great breakout, but then look at this action over here. You get stuck in the trend, then it opens up on a gap, breaks through levels. That, again, ETF, just, you don't need exposure to every fucking company. It's just an average. ETFs are just an average. Look at this fucking chart. What do I need to go? You guys all saw the list of the tickers in here. What are we gonna? It's the most ridiculous fucking exposure ever. There's things like HON in here. What do I will go trade those individually? What do I need to get fucking exposure to? Insane. I mean, I understand the flavor of the moment for wanting to make ETFs about everything, right? I don't understand more than retail. It's only retail that's gonna want to buy this shit. That's it. Doesn't make any sense otherwise. I find it so silly. And they haven't even made a new ETF in 2 years. They just did that one to take advantage of the moment, right? Probably took them like 6 months to make that. But now they got it. Now they got it. Can't wait to see the future of ARK-X. Gonna get an inflow. But that means less inflow on the others. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if that ETF goes up. Teton. Okay, we're still melting on even COVID winners, which is a good sign. Usually these pull back a little bit more violently. That means long orders are still coming in. Still bouncing around on solar. Nice, you know, it's a nice chill day here today. I like it. Had some pretty chill days here. Just close that. Oh, where did it go? There it is. Profit on retail stores. Some of that's losing volume, hard to tell. Well, what do we got? We got OPEC meetings coming up tomorrow, right? See what that does to oil prices. No other events, right? No other events. Just usual stuff on Friday for unemployment. Oh, guys, now I get it. Now I understand. You know why solar and stuff's going up today? Because Biden's plan includes clean energy. Oh, some of the spending is going to be on clean energy. Oh, now I get it. Maybe we should buy that. That's what that whole... Oh, that's why that dude got elected, right? Right. That was that whole reason why we were buying this whole time. Is that... I think that was it, right? Oh, right, because we were like, oh yeah, that Biden guy and the Democrats are probably going to win. And so we pushed the price up like this, and then it happened, and so we started to take profit on it until it actually came back. It came back for the spending. Now we can start to do it again, right? Are we still tying semis into clean energy? Yeah, I would. So I would say that they trade in such a similar way, in the sense of like maybe not on a long term, right? But in a short term volatility sense, when you compare these price movements, they're pretty much the same. Pretty much the same. So we're trading. Are we trading clean energy and in semis because they both have this like long term spending idea? Well, solar and everything and clean energy has a long term spending idea, right? And they're getting government spending and all these things. Are semiconductors, so like things like Intel with processors and graphics cards and chips that go into vehicles, are those are the same idea. It's just a different process, but it still sort of is encompassed in the same thing. It's just not direct. So something like a big solar energy company or something would get a direct funding from the government. The other semiconductors as we know them that go into other products and then may also provide the supply for those energy companies through their chips and everything, it's just a indirect funding, right? It comes down and they'll provide some sort of function there. So it's the price movement is similar. Maybe in the long term, this is completely different, right? When you compare them, right? Overall, they're both growth. We understand they're both growth. We can consider them both semiconductors because that's literally the technical name that you would call a solar, or call something like literally the company that makes chips itself, right? They're both semiconductors, but at the end of the day, there's a little bit of a different process there, but they do move on the same sort of short-term volatility for sure. Maybe not in so much a long-term sense. And I mean, we see it with look at how this relationship moved here, and then things like Nova and all these things. These obviously got more because of the spending plan itself, right? It got more bid because of spending plan. So we can obviously understand that, okay, short-term volatility is one thing, but news, pricing in new spending, of course the solar side is going to price in the fact that it just got the spending plan, right? It's not like we saw 3 trillion and then now the number came down 2.25. That's okay. We can understand it. And the thing to remember here, everyone, is that we speculated this whole time that that was going to happen, and then that's why prices were rising. Now it finally happened with the vote, right? The Georgia runoff happened, and then we took profit on that news. The reason why we're getting bid again is because now we're getting the actual fucking plan, and the spending's really going to happen. Another question from Brian. Based on supply goes down, demand stays the same, equals price increase, and vice versa. Does that present itself in the market? The semiconductor supply is messing with most things being produced, like cars. Exactly. And so that's actually that's one of the only consistent ideas that we've had in the most recent term of the market, right? The short-term volatility recently, is that we understand that supply and demand, even on the supply chain, is affecting price, will affect price. We see it with oil. Why is it that the canal got blocked and then the price of oil went up? Because the supply went down, but the demand stayed the same, right? Demand, everyone still needs the same amount, but now the supply is being brought down, so the price is going to have to go up, right? What happens with semiconductors, chips? All these vehicle companies, like all these automotive companies, can't make vehicles right now because they don't have the chips to do so. What is going to happen? Okay, technically they're not going to raise the prices, right? But that's exactly what it means, is that it's going to cost them more. If they take the brunt of that price, right, instead of increasing the price of the vehicle at the back end, it's still going to cost them more. Why? Because there's no fucking supply. And so everyone's going to want it. So even though the demand stays the same, since there's more supply, you're going to now all be bidding for the same thing, which means price is going to go up. So you all want to buy a chip from TSM, right? Everybody wants to buy the chip, and you've been waiting for a month to get new chips. You're going to be willing to pay a little bit more because you haven't gotten a supply of that in a month, right? And so now the price is going to go up there. That does translate. It does translate to the equity side because we know it's happening. It's not so much that it's some sort of fundamental thing and it's going to have some sort of percent change, but because it is happening, that's what all this is here. Now, we were in a consolidation, right? And growth was not moving, but now we're starting to price some of those events in a short-term sense. What is this here? This is starting to price some of that idea in. It's not going to be the whole move, just like news is not a whole price move, but it's a part of it, right? So as soon as supply gets tightened, demand is the same, price will go up. It may not be immediate, and it may just be on the supply chain side itself. It will certainly affect the economy prices. The prices in the economy, is it going to happen on the equity side? It almost always does translate. It usually does translate. The best way we know this is true is in the futures market. The futures market prices everything immediately for the future, right? But you have an understanding that it's going to have effect. And so again, crude. Just go look at crude. It immediately, as soon as that should happen, yes, we expected price to come back up, but as soon as that should happen, you can see it. It's just clear as day, right? Where do you think it got stuck? Where do you think it got stuck? Price was coming down, right? Where is it? Where is it? I don't know. Maybe we should do it on the daily. Where is it? Is there not more price action in here? I know I just showed you 5 minutes, 30 minutes, and you're like, what do you mean? So this price action, right? Oh, and then what's all this here? It's pricing in what's happening, right? Even though it's kind of a silly thing, the supply chain of a big market like semiconductors certainly has an effect. And you can, it's so clear on this chart, I think. I think it's so clear on this chart here. Otherwise, why are we, yes, growth is coming back, but why is it more than the average? Why is it more than the average? Because the price is going up, and it's in fucking demand. It's in demand. So, You can say this with, okay, here's the other example. Tesla. Tesla has more demand than cars it can fucking make. More people buy the car than they can make it every year, right? So what happens with the price of Tesla? Why is Tesla, and why did it? Why did this fucking price go up so much? Because they have like 10 times as many people buying the car as they can make cars. They made 500,000 vehicles last year, right? How many people bought the car? Probably a million. Probably a million. They're taking orders for next year to buy a fucking vehicle. You know how long it takes to order one of those, like one of the expensive Teslas, not a Model 3 or something? It takes like 8 months for them to deliver the damn thing. They're taking in profit before it even is on the fucking menu, right? It's like you're going to a restaurant and you pay 2 weeks in advance. That's what's happening here. So what's happening is the price is just going up because the demand is higher than the supply, and that has nothing to do with the equity price, but it translates to the equity price for the same reason why we speculate on things happening. Right? There's speculation that, oh, that's going to continue. Elon says he's going to do 1 million cars this year. Well, then we either believe him or we don't, right? And so sometimes we speculate more, sometimes less. What's happened here? Well, we might have got ahead of ourselves, right? Maybe a little ahead of ourselves. Whatever the reasoning, right? It's always the same. Supply and demand is price. Price is just supply and demand. Whether it's today, whether it's at any second of time, it's always going to be what sets price. And so every single market will set that supply and demand. Sometimes there's less demand because you want to go buy little Greg some treasuries. And so since you're not buying Tesla, Tesla goes down. Maybe that's the tipping point. Supply and demand. Okay, we've got the melt up. Is this the meltdown? Or are we going to chill? Find out this afternoon, folks. Let's take a break for lunch. There's not much else happening. It happened at Open. We talked about it. As in we, I mean me, talking to you, and you talking back with me with tickers. Every now and then ask you a question. I'll see you this afternoon. It looks like a nice chill day. You're going to really be able to, you already made a decision on what you're going to do. Now you're going to basically wait till close, right? You're already in a position. If you didn't already make trades, then you can just wait until close. Try to put it on before, capture the after hour move. Maybe you get fucked and tomorrow it opens lower because if today's a big buy day, usually there's some take profit, right? Well, wouldn't that be quite a shame? So maybe you shouldn't do that, right? So next time you'll buy it open. Enjoy your lunch. Drink some water. Fix that posture. Get some damn exercise. I'll see you in the afternoon.